Live.
What's good, everybody? This is MFG. We here to have a big conversation, a little Twitlonger with me, the Infinite, and my boy, the Smurf. Le Smurf. Welcome. Let's have this conversation.
Welcome. All right, thank you everybody for joining us. We got a Twitlonger, which we got on screen, and that's a little small for you guys to see. But basically, this comes from SwordSSBU in the Smash community with issues with the Wi-Fi community and cross-continental Wi-Fi tournaments. Infinite, do you want to take us through this real quick?
Sure. So basically, it breaks down how long he's been playing online events and so on and so forth. And with the Silk series coming into play, how much the prize pools have increased, as well as how COVID's been affecting kind of the scene and the increased amount of people actually depending on Wi-Fi to Smash and other video games of that nature. But this is specifically stored Smash, and he's basically saying, hey, look, I have nothing against any other region or any other place or any other creed, color, or any of that other stuff, but I do like to have competitive matches, especially if they're for thousands of dollars. And the only way we know how we can affect that change is by first limiting the regions in where competitive matches happen on Wi-Fi. You know, no one wants to be fighting for thousands of dollars and having lag spikes, lag drops, and all those other different types of things. And, you know, he thinks the solution would be to simply region lock a lot of these Wi-Fi events, especially because a lot of TOs, especially in the Wi-Fi community, don't really consider that for the most part. I'm sure there are people, but most of the time people just argue that you need to have a LAN adapter if you want to be competing. And, you know, so the subject is region locking and whether or not it's necessary for anybody to do.
Right.
So what's your thoughts? What's your feelings?
I mean, obviously we run Money Match Gaming, which is based in the Midwest. I've moved out to the Pacific Northwest. Your brother's moved out to Central time zone, Central America. All of that's still within North America. So we all good. The thing comes in with people like Silver, SSB coming into the community, right? I think these are the type of names that are bringing up some of that question. Also, that could bring up things like, Ecuador. I think he's gonna be fine. BR is gonna be fine. But we have a lot of South American players that enter some of these tournaments and whatnot with fine connections that will be cut out. I personally feel like I can understand it because, you know, it's for speed and for efficiency of a tournament and whatnot. But if somebody has a clean enough connection, I'm definitely in the seat of, you know, let it go. I think being stricter with rules. I think people are, you know, there's emotion tied into it. You don't want to DQ somebody after you let them into an event, and that's where the real issue of this comes up. Is that people have that problem. It's like firing somebody from a job, you know? You don't feel good being the TO that goes in and it's like, yeah, I know it's 1-1. I'm DQing you. You know? You don't want to be that person. You feel like trash. They feel like trash. They want to like scream at you and like write all sorts of bad things, and you understand why they want to do that. But I think if everybody kind of sucks it up to that and like just abides by that much stronger, you know, being like, hey, is what it is. Obviously, this person is not lagging with the vast majority of our bracket. You are in a bracket where you're farther away. So if you see that, I think, you know, asking people to pull up those network connections along with the lag test that you might do, because we like to do in arena lag tests. But you know, along with that, like where are they at, and if it's whoever's the farthest from the location along with that lag, you know, and just implementing more rules like that to get it straightened out.
Right.
What do you think?
Go for it.
No, I know. What do you think? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I really like the way we approach it, to where it's like, it's one of those situations to where it's like, hey, you do the best you can, and if you need to make adjustments, you can make some in the moment calls and those types of things. Like, we like to do the individual input tests together, and then if all else fails, we'll give it to the person with the best internet connection. And we realize that can be done in a fraudulent way, but I mean, for the most part, we've run into a lot of honest people, and we don't seem to run into that problem a whole lot.
Right.
But overall, my general opinion is that, like, I agree if the pool's big enough to swim in, you know? And,
Right.
and in this situation, you know, with the community the way it is, and although we're starting to get these circuits and they're starting to pop up with reasonable amounts of money, we're just not those other communities, you know, for the most part. We're not raking in millions of dollars. And I think this is one of the reasons why, is there's so much contention at the lowest levels of us connecting and actually being a complete community. You know, it's fractioned in so many different ways, whether it be characters or regions or all these different types of things, and that doesn't, it's just not good for business, you know. And I understand that we are a business and that, you know, we might have business ways of thinking and so on and so forth, but it's like, if you want your scene to get in that comfortable position to where you can make decisions like that, to where it's like, hey, it'd be better if we just split our regions, that way we have better matches, that's great. But like, when you know, it's like one series is getting a few thousand players joining their events, which is great and awesome, the rest of them aren't. And anytime you start reducing those numbers, you have a hard time gaining the support that we're actually looking for, which is business support, whether it be Nintendo, I know, funny, but you know, any of these other things. Like, if the support's there and it's strong enough and we're united enough, you know, we go further. And for me, like, that's my general mindset, is like, if we start dividing ourselves again out of convenience, you know, and out of leisure, you know, you kind of run into these situations where it's like, we're holding ourselves back.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Because I feel like the only reason you would, you know, for this type of issuing, is really that convenience factor. You know, if you're not specifically trying to find the best player in that region, which I can respect Nintendo for doing when they do. It seems like when they have those type of events, they're trying to find the best player in that region because they're offering it to every region at these higher levels. So of anybody doing these things, I do think, if anything, they're doing it the best. Because they're offering the same prize package to every region, and since they don't want to cut out a region, they're offering it to every region then. And so it's like, if you're not going to offer it to every region, then you should offer it to all the people, and let them speak for themselves. You know, if they're going to lag, then they'll DQ themselves. You know, and sometimes people go in with high hopes, and they're good people, and they'll just DQ themselves automatically. Like, you know, we've seen some better players come in that, like, you know, something's happening that day, and we're all in Coronaville right now. And so I've seen a lot of players that normally have solid connections anyways be struggling right now because they're like, yeah, right now FAMS is on Netflix on 3 different accounts.
Right.
I can't kick them off. They're having a bad day. It's like, yeah, I feel it. So it is what it is. And yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think out there? I feel like that's how we should close this off, is like leaving this out there to the community. Anybody out there watching the Smash community or FGC esports in general, what do you feel about you know, sectioning off these tournaments in these online events, especially in this time that we live in, and for those reasons? Yeah.
Deuce.
Deuce that.